Jai Guru Dev. Jai Guru Dev. Having done puja to Guru Dev and listened to the chantings, supreme level of awakening of natural law from the level of pure being, on the level of sound and intentions and sankalpas, and the blessings of His Holiness Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, giving all gratitude to the tradition of masters embodied in Guru Dev and brought to us in this generation for the whole world to enjoy through Maharishi's day in and day out, day and night, attention on bringing fullness of life to every aspect of life. We feel fulfilled and we feel the change and we feel the transformation. The world has evolved in amazing leaps and ways of transcending, going beyond obstacles and difficulties and divisions. And life is more and more integrated. The world is living a more and more unified understanding. There is a profound awakening in nature. This awakening leads to both aspects of reality being lively, the aspect of more and more unity, more and more togetherness as a humanity, human life, acknowledging its oneness, and also as we see more interest in our environment, more interest in our unity and in the ability to give to everyone their rightful ability to express their intelligence, their creativity, and to live life in equality and fullness and freedom and express themselves no matter what their background is, where they come from, or what their activity is. At the same time, embracing our entire world on the field of pure being. And that is the gift of Maharishi that we celebrate today and we inaugurate in this year, again and again, the gift of integration of life, as he has mentioned, the inner and the outer. The drops wanting and expressing themselves and living and growing towards fullness, the expansion of happiness, the expansion of life. This we have been fortunate to experience in our own life, those who have transcended from the surface values to the source of all that there is within our own being, our pure consciousness. And this the world is experiencing without even on the surface level knowing it. The world is experiencing these transformations and this awakening. And that is what we celebrate today, that unity value, which also acknowledges the individuality, the ability to be different, the ability to be proud to be different, to be an expression that celebrates the beauty of life in its own way. So it is not a homogenizing principle that takes everything, mixes it up, and wants to make everything the same. And that is why we also see in the world today the rise of interest in one's own identity, one's own feelings, one's own looks, one's own background, one's own race and belief, and one's own reality that wants to be also acknowledged and also accepted. And that is where we find the ultimate perfection and the knowledge that we have received from this profound tradition through Maharishi's teaching, through Maharishi's technologies that he has taken from Gurudev, from the Vedic tradition, and that he has put for us in a simple, easy way that is also systematic, that can be taught in a way that is reliable, repeatable, scientific. And that knowledge enlivens these values, the ability to be oneself, whatever one is, yet to acknowledge oneself as being true infinity, true unity, to know that we are that field of pure consciousness, that we all are that reality, at the same time enjoying the expressions on the surface level. So this is where all differences, all potentials for division, all potentials for fear, all potentials for anxieties about the other, myself, taking this from me and that, disappears, while at the same time allowing everyone to be their own self on the surface level, as well as, and most importantly, to experience and live their true self on the deepest level of reality. And that is what we see from even the physics of reality, the objective, most objective approach, telling us that there is one field, it's all one unified field of natural law. And that one unified field appears as many. Maharishi has repeated this so many times, has worked with so many scientists and great leaders that we have with us today that have looked into that and have expressed that from that perspective. He has also supported scientific research because it's not just an idea. It's not just a wonderful philosophy and a wonderful understanding and a wonderful inspirational move to take us into the right direction, something that has as if been selected in order to make us enjoy the unified value of life. It is actually the true reality of life. And as a true reality, it has to be also verifiable. And that is why Maharishi, even in his talk in 1975, inaugurating the Age of Enlightenment, mentioned scientific research. And we have this simple technique that reduces blood pressure, improves the hormones in the body, improves behavior, improves thinking, improves the creativity of the artist, the genius of the scientists, mathematician, physicist, thinker about world, philosophers, spiritual feelings, spiritual leaders. It improves health, it improves behavior and relationships, and it improves society. It brings the light to the darkness when there is darkness and allows people to live in happiness and harmony. And all of this has been researched, has been studied, has been deeply investigated in a systematic way. And one wonders, what is it that does all these things that seem to be different, that seem to be so different? What does my blood pressure have to do with peace in society and the reduction in crime? Or, of course, it can be connected in many ways to behavior or well-being, longevity, and all the great things that this amazing technology of consciousness gives us. What does it have to do? What it has to do is to enliven that value, which is everything, which manifests in different ways, but which itself is the source, the goal, and the path of everything through it. If we align ourselves with that reality, which is the common denominator of everything, one could tend to say the common denominator of life and living, but it's actually more, because life, where do we define life? Whether we say, okay, the tree is alive, but is the stone alive? Is the moon alive? Is planet Earth alive? We can say, to simplify things, it's on the level of being. Whatever is to be, whatever is, a stone, a tree, an animal, a human being, the wind, the planets, the universe, the rivers, they are there. They are. So they are a being. They are an entity that exists. And all that exists is pure existence manifesting as specific existing entity. And pure existence is consciousness. This is the Vedic teaching. This is the Vedantic understanding. This is the supreme yogic unifying understanding of life. And this is also the most logical, most comprehensive, most fulfilling, most flawless answer to all the problems about existence, reality, manifestation, appearance, change, and all the laws that construct the universe, be it on the moral level of what is good, what is bad, on the physical level, what is entanglement, what is the ability to have probability, degrees of freedom, how they interact, why do we have these weirdnesses in the quantum physical level, this relativity on the classical level of speed and space and time and all of these things. They are all unified in that reality of one unbounded consciousness of pure being. And it is that ocean of being that becomes the drop of water, or appears as a drop of water, as the stone, as the rock, as the mountain, as the tree, the animal, the humans, and all that there is. And it is by going there, to that field of consciousness, which in physics, they are attempting to find what it is, but they held back by the physical, as if the physical is that entity which is the supreme reality, even though there is no place to know where it could come from. But that is only a small step to make into consciousness. And today we see the convergence of thinking, of ideas, is just a small step, and human understanding and intelligence will take that step and realize that consciousness is all there is, and that we as humans have evolved to such level of consciousness that we can tap that infinite reservoir of creativity and intelligence, take our life in our hands, remove pain and suffering and conflict and difficulties, and raise life to fullness, so that the gap between heaven on earth is removed and life on earth can be lived like life has been imagined to be, or what it could be in paradise or in heaven or in heavenly spheres, where all good is there. There is no suffering, there is well-being. And this we can live even today in our own generation. We have the scientific proof of it, we have the logic of it, the intelligence that allows us to see how it can be, how it can work, and the technology that Maharishi has given us from Gurudev and the ancient Vedic tradition, and his profound ability to adapt it and show it and systematize it for society, to be able to create a life that has been a life that was dreamt by the sages, the poets, the well-wishers of life, but that today we can be sure it can happen. All we do is to apply the technology and the results are guaranteed. So that is why we celebrate again a new year in gratitude, infinite gratitude to all those who are participating in this wonderful adventure, if we want to say, because we have to convince and talk, and there is unknowns at certain levels, but a secure path on the other level, a secure path in the sense that if we continue and we speak about it and continue the research about it and keep letting people practicing it and knowing it for themselves, the path is secure and certain, and life on earth will be lived in heavenly terms, in divine terms, in supreme terms of happiness and support and well-being and prosperity, and no obstacles and no good to no one. And that we are feeling gratitude for all those involved, but of course, the infinite gratitude goes to Maharishi for having been the path, the goal, the conduit, the source enlivening the goal and showing where it is and bringing meaning to life. And it's so great that the meaning is beautiful, that life is not to be lived in struggle, that life's meaning is the expansion of being, the expansion of happiness, growth, and fulfillment are really achievable for every individual. Peace, invincibility, and harmony within diversity and within richness of expressions are a true possibility and will be achieved thanks to the nature of life, which is to grow. And it is in that nature that we operate with the technology and the perfection of that technology that we maintain in its purity. And we want to give it generation after generation as we received it to create a life that is really our birthright, that we are born to enjoy, since the total value of natural law is embodied in us as humans. We have reached that point, and with that point, there is a glorious possibility, but we have to do it. We have to inspire everyone to join us, and we look forward to experiencing that and living that, all of us, very soon in this our lifetime and for all generations to come. Jai Guru Dev.
Jai Gurudev. Thank you so much, Maharajaji, for inaugurating this new year and setting us on a great adventure of what is going to be accomplished during this year.